You know how we get down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Alright, we're doing a black card set review. Black has some good bombs in the set. And also black has two of the stronger archetypes in the set, including zombies and also including vampires. I think vampire is actually the strongest archetype in the set, but let's take a look. So here we have this ghoul over here, pretty strong, 3/2 first striker for 4 mana, that's very good. And you know, it's a zombie, which has really good implications which has good synergy with a lot of other cards. It resurrects itself very well, and it has ability to gain you life points, so that could be the difference at the end of the game. Black has a decent draw card with this card right here. You can sack a creature, and draw a card. It's instant speed, so you can block, sack, draw 2 cards. Pretty good. Army of the Damned, when you play this card, you should win next turn. Your 13/2/2 black zombies will come to play tapped, but you know, the next turn it's going to do a serious problem for your opponent. You should win, unless they have, you know, large amounts of creature removal, which does exist in the set in red. So that's just something you have to watch out for. White also has a card that can handle this, but I feel like the red is just more reliable. The Bitterheart Witch, she's okay. You know, she could cheap out some curses. The curses are okay, but in limited you have to get those curses as well, and her, and then you have to get this card out, you know, before you draw your curse. So just don't think that she's as good. She's a little bit conditional. The demons are very good. This guy is actually the better demon. 5 mana for 5/4 with a way to draw cards. If you lose a life, totally worth it. This vampire, wow. This vampire is one of the best monsters in the whole entire set. He's extremely high powered. And he can easily level up, and he just generates all kinds of stupid advantage. He can make 4/4 vampire creature tokens. It's really ridiculously overpowered. He's so good, I think that he may be seen he probably won't definitely be seen play in standard. He's that good. Bone Weevil, 4/4/1/1, not that exciting. Intimidate can be used only as a sorcery for Mind Rot, not exciting. Okay, enchant players, creatures get -1/-1/1. It's okay, but you know, if your opponent's running cards that are, you know, larger, like a 4/3 flyer or something like that, it'll go to a 3/2 flyer, and that right there is not really going to be enough. It'll stop their spirit tokens from going off, and it'll also card on all the zombies to 1/1s. They can generate advantage if they have a swarm of creatures, but by that turn you're losing anyways. And if they have an army of 1/1 creatures and you have one of these enchantments on the field, you know, it's not enough to really stop their swarm and to keep you from taking large amounts of damage. So even under ideal circumstances, this card is not that great, and it costs 5 mana. By the time you get this out, you know, they can have a whole army out there. Deadweight, even though it's 1 mana and just goes -2/-2, I mean, it can early game destroy stuff, and middle to late game it can really, you know, put a hurting on their bomb and make them trade off favorably with one of their creatures. So I do think that it is actually a good card, because, you know, it's just a lot cheaper and a lot easier to use. Diagraph Ghoul, 1 mana for 2/2, that's awesome. Zombies in black don't usually get this kind of power. It's true, comes to play tap, but that's totally worth it. Here we have, you know, this vampire. We have a lot of vampire role players besides the superstars the superstar card that we already saw. This is a solid role player for those zombies. Then we have some role players this is a solid role player for the vampires, and this is a solid role player for the zombies. This one allows you to return up to, you know, 2 creatures to your hands if they're zombies, and there's a lot of zombies in here, so, you know, just having the card advantage is nice. These cards are not that exciting. This card does seem at first glance that it does have like a lot of interesting tricks that it could pull off. You could cheap out some creatures, and then you could blow this up and then, you know, do it towards the combat trick, also all your creatures gain +1/+1, but it requires too many steps, and these steps have to happen in the right sequence for this card to really be, you know, of high value. Liliana the Veil, once again, I do feel that she's kind of situational, and she requires certain steps to happen in the right sequence. If your opponent's playing, you know, a whole bunch of little weenies, that, you know, the fact that she makes your opponent sacrifice creature is not as good. If they should be, you know, having a bunch of cards in their hand. The fact that they get to choose, or if they have a card they want to put in the graveyard, something with the low flashback cost, or maybe even, you know, a Scout Ruinator or something like that, something they can cast from the graveyard. You know, she's just not as good. So, you know, yeah, you could build your deck around her, but she's more for really a constructed format. And even constructed, I find it difficult to really find a reason to use her. You know, just because, you know, she's not always good, and there's just, yeah, Liliana Vale, not excited about her. Okay, let's take a look. Once again, another Vampire role player, solid. This spirit here is very good, 5 mana, and then it has a 4/4, which is a decent body. Then on top of that, you can make an opponent get -4/-4 if they lost a creature this turn. You can just play a removal spell, you could do combat, and then they lose a monster, and it's not that hard to make them lose something, and then from there, all of a sudden they lose another creature, and then you get 4/4. It's really awesome. So I just think that this, you know, also it says, you have to be careful though, because this card, if it comes out, if they did not, you know, if they lost all the creatures, they don't have any creatures left, you have to -4/-4 something, which means that it will end up effectively killing itself. Is Reaping from the Abyss, you have to be careful because it could reap your own cards. It requires you to destroy target non-demon creature, even your own. But, you know, it can't destroy demons, so at least he himself will survive, and having 6/6 fly on the field, you know, if your opponent has nothing on the board, that's not something that I would really worry too much about. So I would definitely take this card, maybe first pick. You know, it would be very difficult for me to take something else above this card, but, you know, there's, you know, if I got 2 mythics in the pack, you know, you never know what could happen. It's possible. If I saw that Vampire from earlier, I would probably take the Vampire before this guy, because the Vampire is just that good. The flip Vampire, the rare one. 4/5/1, not, you know, he's going to die to anything, but at least you can get him back. But, you know, 4 mana is kind of expensive, and then he's just going to die again. Not as exciting. A solid Vampire role player, not really as good as the Vampire we saw before, but, you know, it's solid role player. Sever the Bloodline, I think this card is really good. We don't have any Doomblade cheap black removal spells. We don't have any Go for Throats or Terrors. This is the next best thing, and the fact that it is able to take care of a card and then can use it again from the graveyard makes it even more tasty. So, you know, at 4 mana, we don't really want to waste a card like this on their small creatures anyways. So, you know, the fact that it's a little bit high costed is not really the worst thing for me. So I would definitely take this card first if I saw it in a pack. Unless I have this guy, Skursgag High Priest, holy crap, 2 for a 1/2, and then he can make a 5/5 demon, as if your opponent should ever be dumb enough to let one of his creatures die. It's just really, really disturbing to have this card on the field on the other side from you, and it's really awesome to have on your side of the field. I would not be attacking this guy, I would just be trying to, you know, find a way to kill this creature, and then immediately tap him and get a 5/5 black demon creature to do it again and again and again. This card is just the definition of value. Holy crap. 1 mana for 1/1 Death Touch. This card is awesome. You know, they don't want their creatures to go through the graveyard, and for the mortal abilities to go off, but this creature, you know, puts an early clock on them. That's really good. I like it. It's a rat, and it's not easy to, you know, it's not a vampire or a zombie, so it gets around certain cards that cause problems with those kinds of cards. Here we have a solid Vampire roleplay once again, 2 for a 2/1 flyer, good evasion, can't block. Who cares? Want my vampires to go off and do damage and get in there, and this guy's definitely going to be getting that done. Victim of Night, there's a lot of vampires, werewolves, and zombies in this set, so this card has limited value, but there's also a lot of cards that aren't vampires, zombies, and werewolves. But a lot of the best cards are vampires, zombies, and werewolves, so this card is something that, you know, I would take it, but I would just be aware that, you know, in certain critical points of the game, this card will not be doing what you really want it to do. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Here we go. On to Red.
You know how we get down? Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, boy!